Hello everyone, welcome to today's webinar. This is our third webinar on the real estate investment opportunity for civil servants, and this is our third week. And this is our third webinar. And in today's webinar, we'll be discussing agricultural investment offers, the various type of agricultural investment offers we have. At the beginning of the webinar, our first webinar, we discussed investment basic every teacher to know. We discussed about stock markets, mutual funds, treasury bills, bonds, and the likes. And we also told you about platform you can use to do these stuff, how you can go about it through platform like Cowrywise, Bamboo, Piggyvest, and the likes. On the second week, we talk about real estate opportunities. Opportunities in real estate. We talked about land banking. We talked about fractional ownership. We talked about collaborative ownership. We talked about lease properties, and we talked about agriculture. Now, this week, in today's webinar, we are delving deep into agriculture. We are showing you and we are telling you how you can go about it and the various offers we have in it. Like I said in our last webinar, I said for every 10 years, the 10 years effect, for every 10 years there is an opportunity that you can key into. You just have to have the information and know what the opportunity is. There was a time in Nigeria, that's in the early 2000s, where mobile phone GSM was the hot cake. Everybody that invested in GSM mobile phone, the phone you are using currently, Android, Nokia 3310, you know what happened? They've made it. People that invested in transportation, because there was a time transportation was key. Ojuku Motors, that's in the 90s. Is it 90s or 80s? There was a time that banking was, top notch. People that invested in banking and in the financial sector currently now are the big boys of nowadays. They're the big men of today. Take for instance Haig. Take for instance Tony Elumelu. They invested in it and the likes. There was a time that technology was the key. There was a time that oil and gas. But now those areas are saturated. There was a time cryptocurrency. But now they are all saturated. And people that keyed into those opportunities now are big men. They are in millions. They are millionaires, they are billionaires. 2020, due to the coronavirus, there was high demand in edu technology, virtual communication. Then we had Zoom, we had Google Meet. There was a high demand in social media. That was 2020. Then people start doing Instagram live. Now start monetizing Instagram, monetizing YouTube, monetizing Facebook. Now a lot of people have keyed into those opportunities. And you know what? They are millionaires. We have Instagram influencers, we have YouTube influencers. Mr. Beast, the richest YouTube influencer. Richest YouTube influencer. It was like you and I. He invested in it. And you know what? Now he's the richest. That was 2019. So don't allow opportunity to pass you by. This is another opportunity right here in front of you that we are bringing to you. We are bringing this opportunity to your doorstep. You are not paying 5 naira for this opportunity. You are not paying 5 naira to get this knowledge. But we are bringing it to your doorstep. Because we believe in empowerment of civil servants. So today we'll be looking at agricultural investment offers. Agricultural investment offers. That's what we'll be looking at today. What are the offers we have in agriculture currently? So these documents, today's webinar, we'll be discussing 4 agricultural investment offers, their structure, returns, and the key variables considered to ensure fairness, sustainability, and institutional acceptability. We are showing you four ways in which you can key into the uh, agricultural investment. Number one, food ownership. Like I said earlier, like I said earlier, I said that a lot of real estate companies are going into agricultural investment. They are owning farm estates. Farm estates. So one of the ways in which you can key into this is you also own a piece of land in a farm estate. A piece of land in a what? Farm estate. You own a piece of land in a farm estate. That's number one. That's what full ownership entails. It entails number one, the investor, which is you. The investor, which is you, own a land outright. You own a piece of land in a farm estate. That's number one. Then is a farm estate, you know there are operators on it and there are going to be farm managers on it. Then after owning a piece of land in a farm estate, what do? You pay for farm management fee, and then you pay the farm management fee. That means they help you manage your farmland. Then the third one is what? You select your crop type, and then operators manage the farm for you. Operators manage the farm for you. Well, you can paying for farm management is optional. You can decide to pay for farm management. You can decide not to pay for farm management. But these are the advantage for owning a farmland in a farm estate. Is because of the farm estate is structured, is fenced, is secured, and they have processors, and they have other they have other resources you will need for your farm. So even though you don't pay for farm management, you can easily benefit from their security system. You can easily benefit from their other facilities like water supply and the likes, where it will be easier for you to farm. That's why I advise people own own a farmland in a farm estate. Then you can now decide if you want to farm on it yourself or you want the farm operators to cultivate on it yourself. That is where you will now have to pay farm management fee. I hope you understand. So let's continue. Let's continue. So, what are the key characteristics of this? Number one, the land is a long-term appreciating asset. That means the land is forever yours. The land is yours forever and ever. Amen. You can decide not to farm on it. You can decide to farm on it. Nobody's going to take your land from you. You can decide after buying the farmland you want to lease it out to farmers, or you can decide after buying the farmland you want to lease it out to the farm operators. You can decide whatever you want to do whenever you want to do it. Number two, farm management is a structured investment service. Number three, returns are derived from farm output over harvest cycle. Returns are what? Returns are derived from farm output over agreed harvest cycle. Now, how is the return structured? Let's look at how the returns is structured. Number one, investors receive 80% total revenue over the agreed what? Investment duration. That's over the agreed investment duration. Returns are paid per harvest cycle, which is passive income. Operator retains 20% to cover farm management, operations, and risks. And also, the last one, the landowner is equals to the what? Investor. You that own the land are still you are the investor because you own the land. The land is yours forever, and you pay farm management, which is for investment purpose. Do you get my point? And another thing is another thing is that the key variables for the for your amount of returns is dependent on number one, your land size. Your land size. The returns a person that bought 1 acre of land will get is totally different from the returns a person with one plot of land will get. Your land size and your crop type. Your land size and your crop type will determine, number one, how fast you get your returns. Number two, how big your returns is. If you go for a crop type that has harvest cycle of 4 months, that means you know you are getting your returns every 4 months. If you go for a crop type like cocoa that has your first harvest will be like in the next 6 years, then you know that before you get your first harvest will be 6 years. So those are the variables that you consider for option one, full ownership. Basically, those are the variables you consider for everything though, for everything at large. But let's look at option two. Option two is fractional ownership. Fractional ownership. Fractional ownership. What does fractional ownership mean? It means multiple parties participate in agricultural production through structured partnership. Multiple parties. A group of people can come together. A group of people can come together to own a property. That's fractional ownership. And Dr. Emmanuel talked about fractional ownership. He talked about fractional ownership. Bring 10,000 naira, 10,000 naira. When 10 people bring 10,000 naira, that's 100,000 naira. You key into it. You don't like I used to say, you don't have to chase the financial body alone. You don't have to chase the financial body alone. Call family and friends. Oh, let's come together. Oh, your colleague at oh, let's come together. Let's do this thing. How much do you have? How much do you have? How much do you have? That's how it works. Yeah. Was it not last week? I got a call from, you know, Surulere. I got a call from Surulere Zone in Education District 4. That, oh, okay. Uh, they said they have this piece of land, I think 3 acres of land, and, they would love to use it for agricultural purposes. And I'm like, no problem. We scheduled a meeting. We scheduled a meeting already. Don't worry, I'll tell you the update about it. See, I think they are like 5 or 10 people put their lands together. I think they got the land together. They have like 3 acres and they are willing to use it for agricultural purposes and they are looking forward for partnership. That's what they call fractional ownership. One party provides the land, the another party provides the capital required for farm management. One person provides the land, the other person provides capital for farm management. So it can be that, oh, one party buys land in a farm estate. Do you get my point? One party buys the land in farm estate, while the other parties raise up capital to pay for farm management. And once the returns comes, the returns is split across each parties. So let's look at the structure. One party provides land or acquire a farmland. So that party, we call the party the land provider. And that party provides the capital required for farm management and cultivation. We will call the other party the capital provider. Then the right property acts as the farm contractor responsible for farm planning, supervision, and operational coordination. Can you see? Like that, you're not working. Your money is growing. Now, the purpose of this model is to combine land resources and agricultural capital under professional farm management. Under professional what? Farm management. Let's look at how the revenue framework works. At the end of each harvest cycle, farm produce are sold and total revenue is realized. From the total revenue, 20% of the total revenue is deducted as the farm contractor's administrative fee for farm management and coordination service. This deduction is made before any other distribution. This also applies to offer one. If you see in offer one, 20% deduction is for the farm contractor administrative. That means the farm operator. So the farm operator is in charge of cultivation, harvesting, and the sales of farm produce. Cultivation, harvesting, and the sales of farm produce. That's what the farm operator or the farm contractor administrative, that's their job. That's why a fee of 20% of the total revenue will be deducted as their own money. Then the 80% will be shared, will be given back to the investor, or will be shared among the group of people that invested. So the profit sharing goes thus. After the 20% administrative deduction, the remaining 80% of the revenue is shared between the number one, the landowner, that means the party who acquired or contributed the farmland, and the capital provider, the party who financed the farm management and what? Cultivation. The sharing ratio between these two parties are determined by their mutual agreement before the commencement of the farming cycle. Now, normally the person that provides the capital gets more share. The person that provides the capital gets more share. The party that provides the capital gets more share. You know why? Why? Because the land provider, the land belongs to him. The land belongs to him, not the person that provided capital. So it's your land. You can decide to sell your land, and your land is appreciating. So the land provider gets lesser share, the capital provider gets more share. So that's how offer 2 works. Offer 3, which offer 3 is the most affordable? Offer 3, I call offer 3 pure agricultural investment, no land ownership. Pure what? Agricultural investment, no land ownership. You don't have to go to the struggle of owning a land. You don't have to go to the struggle of raising capital. You just need to invest. You are just coming in as an investor. So let's look at the structure. Number one, under the structure, the investor does not need to own land. The investor does not need to pay for farm management. Operator, the operator is the one that provides the land and the management. The operator provides what? The land and the management. The investor participates purely as a financial investor. Purely as a what? Financial investor. Let's look at how that works. Let's look at the investment term, how it works. Investment term, minimum investment of 500,000 naira. Returns are calculated over 4 harvest cycle. 4 harvest cycle is what we call one investment cycle. 4 harvest cycle is what we call one investment cycle. So let's look at the returns. Total returns on investment is 58% over 4 harvest cycle. Returns are paid per harvest cycle. Capital plus profits are paid out by the end of the 4th harvest cycle. And this is specifically structured for crops that has harvest cycle of 4 months. Now let's have the investment overview. Initial investment 500,000 naira. Investment duration 18 months. Investment cycle every 4 months. Total returns 790,000 naira. Net profits, which is your ROI, is 290,000. Is what? 290,000. Now let's look at the performing metrics. Total ROI is 58%, which is 290,000. Average ROI per harvest cycle. That's average ROI per what? Harvest cycle is what? 14.5%. 14.5%. So per harvest cycle, you are getting 14.5% of 500,000, and it's paid per harvest cycle. 14.5% is paid to you per harvest cycle. So one harvest cycle, you receive your 40.5%. Second harvest cycle, you receive your 40.5%. Third harvest cycle, same thing. Fourth harvest cycle, you receive fourth harvest cycle, you receive your 40.5% and your 500,000 naira. So your annual returns is what? 41%. So consistent performance across 4 harvest cycle. Now, that is the structure of this. That's the structure of this investment. Don't worry, that's the option we have on pure investment. We are coming up with other structures for investments that take longer period of time. But for now, we don't want to do investment that take longer period of time. We want to do investment that take short period of time. That's why we are going for crops that have short harvest cycle. Now, and this investment is quite flexible. That's the sweetest thing about this investment. It is very flexible. Aside from the fact that it is affordable, it is very flexible. Now, Let's look at it. Let's look at the flexibility. And the flexibility is about maturity and rollover options. At the completion of the 16 to 18 month investment cycle, investors may choose any of the following options. Number one, full withdrawal. What does that mean? Short term exit. Investor withdraws capital and what? Full profit. Capital and profit. Capital and profit. The investment withdraw it. Capital and profit. The investment and the investor withdraws his capital and his profit. The investors withdraw his capital and his profit. The second flexibility is what? Profit withdrawal with capital reinvestment. So you withdraw your profits, which is your 58%, and what do you now do? You now reinvest your capital, which is the 500,000 naira. 500,000 naira. So for another investment cycle, which is what? Two, which is another 18 months. Then you now get the same 58%. Now the third one is full reinvestment, which is a long-term participation. Full reinvestment, and this long-term participation, is a long-term investment which can span out to like 5 years or 10 years, and you have a compounding interest. A compounding interest, whereby your interests keep accumulating. After one harvest cycle, one investment cycle, then your 790k is reinvested. Then on that 790k, you get 58%. So at the end of the second investment cycle, which is another 18 months, the total money you are getting is 1.2 million, 1.2 something million. Then you reinvest that 1.2 something million, you get another 58% on it, and you are having close to 2 million naira at the third investment cycle. By the fourth investment cycle, you are having nothing less than 3 million. By the fifth investment cycle, you are having nothing less than 7 million. By the 10th investment cycle, you are having nothing less than 15 million. So it is a what? Compounding interest. So that's how it works. So that's how it works. That's how it works. So that's how full reinvestment, which is a long-term investment, that's how it works. So let's look at the characteristics of this. Number one, controlled and structured investment model, predictable agricultural income cycle, sustainable for both short-term investors and long-term investors, long-term participants seeking compound returns, particularly sustainable for salary earners and passive investors. Sustainable for salary earners and passive investors. Now let's proceed to the fourth investment option we have. The fourth investment option we have, which is collective ownership model. Collective ownership model, which this can be acquired through cooperative and the likes. So let's look at it. Let's look at the structure. Groups: school, ministry, cooperative district, pool funds, joint land acquisition, shared farm management cost, operator manage the farm. That's how it works. That's how it works. Group pool funds. That means a school like Clear Girls, all the teachers in Clear Girls can say, oh, let's acquire 1 acre of farmland in a farm estate. Let's contribute money for the farm management, and everybody on the list will get their returns. So how does the returns work? Number one, net farm profit calculated after sales. Operator deduct 20%. Remaining 80% is shared among contributors based on their contribution ratio. Based on their what? Contribution ratio. And what are the that's how it works. It works that simple. So what are the key variables to all these offers that I've told you about? Number one, land size. Land size determines output. Land size determines what? Output. So these are the key variables which we consider. Land size determines output. Crop type determines cycle length. Returns are based on quantity of produce and market selling price. So those are the key variables that are considered. Why agriculture? Why? You are eating every day, I'm eating every day. Food demand is constant and growing. It's constantly there's a constant demand of food. Natural edge against inflation. We have relatively short production cycle, strong market demand. Strong market demand. We have strong market demand. So this is an opportunity everyone can key into, and I would advise everyone to ensure they key into this opportunity. 5 years is just around the corner. 5 years will pass you by within a twinkle of an eye, and you don't know, and you miss out on this opportunity. You miss out on this opportunity. So we've come to today's we've come to today's webinar. We've come to an end of today's webinar, and on our next webinar will be next week Saturday. Our next webinar will be next week Saturday, and that will be on the 14th. On the 14th. On our next webinar, we'll be discussing showing you different offers we have that you can key into. We'll be showing you practically. We'll be showing you different farmlands we have, different farming agro crop type that we are working on, the payment structure, the payment the payment structure, how you can do it. We'll be taking you through those step-by-step process. So stay tuned. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Spread the good news to your friends. Spread the good news to your family. And thank you. See you next week Saturday. Thank you.